My Lord and my God, I firmly believe that you are here, that you see me, that you hear me. I adore you with profound reverence. I ask you for pardon of my sins and grace to make this time of prayer fruitful. My Mother Immaculate, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me. Today we are celebrating the feast of Mary, Mother of the Church. This feast is hardly 10 years old. Pope Francis decreed that the memorial of Mary, Mother of the Church, be celebrated every Monday after Pentecost, so the day after Pentecost each year. And so it's been that way since 2018 when he established this. And it's very, very fitting. This is not a new title of Our Lady, because even way back, time of St. Augustine and St. Leo the Great, they both spoke very clearly of Our Lady as the Mother of the Church. So the idea of Our Lady Mater Ecclesiae has been there since antiquity. And it is very fitting, because if yesterday Pentecost was, as it were, the official birthday of the Church, then today we look at the Mother of the Church, because you always do that. When a baby is born, you always make a big fuss, and rightly so, of the Mother. And that is what we are doing today. Mary is the Mother of the Church. In paintings of Pentecost, I think you nearly always see the apostles gathered around Our Lady in their midst, at the very centre of them normally. The Church gathered around her Mother, like children gathered around their beloved Mother, holding on to her. And without Our Lady there, it's very hard to think that Pentecost would have ever happened. The apostles weren't simply waiting for the coming of the Holy Spirit. They're gathered around the one person in the world who knows how to receive the Holy Spirit. Our Lady is the Master in docility to the Holy Spirit. From the Annunciation, we see that so clearly. She is perfectly docile to the Holy Spirit, and so she teaches the whole Church how to be docile. And so in today's Mass, there are two optional first readings, and the first of them comes from the Acts of the Apostles, and it speaks of Jesus being taken up into heaven on the Feast of the Ascension. The apostles go back to Jerusalem. They go back to the upper room, and they're staying there. It names them all, at least the apostles, and then it says all these joined in continuous prayer together with several women, including Mary, the mother of Jesus, and with his brothers. And so Our Lady is mentioned in a special way, and we can imagine that is the way it was 10 days later on the Feast of Pentecost. They were there, all gathered around Our Lady in their midst. That other optional first reading comes from a much older reading, of course, Genesis. And it shows Our Lady, in no uncertain terms, to be the arch enemy of the devil. After the serpent has caused Adam and Eve to fall into sin, God curses the serpent, saying, I will make you enemies of each other, you and the woman, your offspring and her offspring. And the Church has always seen this woman, this mysterious woman, as being Our Lady. And her offspring, of course, is Christ and the whole Church. So, looking at today's Gospel, the Gospel of today's Mass, it begins like this. Seeing his mother and the disciple he loved standing near her, Jesus said to his mother, Woman, this is your son. Then to the disciple he said, This is your mother. And from that moment, the disciple made a place for her in his home. Jesus calls Mary woman. He doesn't say Mary, he says woman. And this is very deliberate. St. John tells us this because he really wants us to hear an echo of Genesis, what we've just seen in Genesis, that Our Lady is there from the very beginning. Because we have the first woman, who's Eve, but she really doesn't do us any favors, because as a result of her sin, all of us receive our terrible inclination towards sin. But then Our Lady is the new Eve. The church has for many, many centuries called Our Lady the new Eve, this new woman. And where Eve got us into all that trouble, this new mother of ours is the mother of all the living, compared to sometimes Eve is called, maybe poor Eve, but she's called the mother of the dead, and Mary's the mother of the living. But St. John really wants us to make that connection. But also, at the end of the gospel passage that we are given in today's Mass, we are given this very important line. After Jesus has died, when they came to Jesus, they found he was already dead. And so instead of breaking his legs, one of the soldiers pierced his side with a lance, and immediately there came out blood and water. And it seems pretty clear to the church that when John mentions in this particular way the blood and the water, he's actually telling us that the whole church has come from the side of Christ. Water representing the most important, the most fundamental of the sacraments, baptism, and blood representing, of course, the Eucharist, and these two key sacraments flowing from the side of Jesus on the cross. But Mary is there at the birth of the church from the side of Jesus. And St. John makes that connection very, very clear to us. Our Lady is there from the very beginning because she is the mother of the church. Now remember what we just seen. St. John tells us that Jesus said to him, he said to him with almost the last breath of his life, he said to the disciple, this John, "This is your mother." Other translations say, "Behold your mother." Ecce, this is. But behold her is very beautiful because it's saying, look at her, look at her. As if to say, what an incredible gift I'm giving you. I'm giving you my own mother to be your mother. So you should look at her full of amazement. What a mother we have in Our Lady. And not only that, but how important she is. So it's not just that she's very beautiful, which of course Our Lady is in every way, so beautiful, but so important for us. She's our mother. We all are so indebted to our mothers because without our mothers, well, we would not be here. And so the church, the whole church, as if the church is saying that today, well, without this mother of ours, without her fidelity, without her response to the call of the Archangel Gabriel at the Annunciation, well, we just wouldn't be here. The church would not be here. We would never have been born. It's kind of a mystery, really. But again, Jesus is saying, behold. And I think this is something we have to do in a special way on the feast days of Our Lady. A smaller one. Today's not as big as the Annunciation or the Assumption or other feast days like that. But it is still a feast day of Our Lady, and all these feast days of Our Lady that we have, and maybe especially in this month of May, they are opportunities for us to, well, do what Jesus asked us. Look at Our Lady. And that also means physically, I think, maybe having a little picture of Our Lady with us at all times, or in our bedroom beside our bed, and we would look at Our Lady, behold her. And Jesus again said, behold your mother. And so we could say, Jesus, I want to do that. I want to do exactly what you told me to do, and I'm going to behold my mother. And maybe particularly on a feast day like today, I'm going to look at her and marvel at just what a mother we have. She's the mother of the whole church, but that doesn't mean an anonymous mass. She's the mother of us all individually, and she loves us even more than our earthly mothers could have ever loved us. Our Lady looks at us as her little children and cares for us and intercedes for us and protects us, all these things. So let's promise Jesus today on the feast of Mary, Mother of the Church, that we will do what he instructed us to do. We will behold Our Lady with great love and with great gratitude on today's feast. I give you thanks, my God, for the good resolutions, affections, and inspirations you have communicated to me in this meditation. I ask you for help to put them into effect. My Mother Immaculate, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me.